you are looking live at Braz's Townhouse, where the Fantasy Franchise League is going down for the first time this year. And week one, we have some interesting matchups to discuss. But first, we'd like to take a minute and pause to thank our sponsors. Who this year, or this week, are Thompson Industrial Supply and Ed Weathers, who apparently is a sales rep there. So thank you, Ed. Let's get to it. We had some interesting matchups this week, and I'm going to recap the scores just for you. Matty Lou could have had a big week. His Titans, which I thought he kind of picked with his heart because they're not really going to be that good, but they destroyed the Buccaneers, whose offensive line couldn't protect a turd pie at a bake sale. Moving on from there, though, his Seahawks decided to fall to the lowly Rams in St. Louis, which means Lou finished week one with a tally of 2.5 points. Moving right along to Braz, his Dolphins won, which he was worried. He didn't think they'd have a good year, but they're 1-0 and they got a good chance to do things coming into week two. But we'll get to that in a minute because Braz does have a problem. He picked the Packers and he picked the Bears, and they're in the same division, which means they're going to face off. What are you doing, Braz? But anyway, they faced off in week one. So that means that the Packers beat the Bears, but there's not really a lot of chances for points there, so Braz has 2.5 points as well. Which brings you to yours truly, the champ, who all three of his teams won, including the Chargers, who get an extra point for offensive explosion. For you sports fans at home keeping track of score, that means we have Braz, 2.5 points, Lou, 2.5 points, and the champ at 5.5 points. Woo! Looking forward into next week, we have our first league-to-league matchup with Lou and with Braz when Lou's Seahawks travel to Lambeau to take on the Packers. The champ isn't really looking too good next week. He doesn't have a single team favored in the point spreads, not even the Pats, who are even at the Bills. Braz's Dolphins have a good chance to go to 2-0. I forget who they play, but it's not somebody good, and they're favored big. So here's to you, Fantasy Franchise League, week one, and remember, always go for two.